I learned that if you don't have systems in place, you're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you're going to be part of the chaos.
Like, I want A players only, and then I want the best tech stack, automations, AI to empower those people, right? Like, how can you lift each other up? All ships rise together, right? Like, that's the vibe. We got this big shot in the building today. I think this guy runs the state of Texas over here when it comes to construction, man. We got the founder and CEO of Rising Creek Custom Homes. Man, this guy's a man, the myth, the legend. I've had an opportunity to work with Jake Mauldin for over, 5 months now at this point. We connected at JobTread Connect. He's one of those users on JobTread who just thinks differently. He's always trying to push the envelope in what he's creating with automations, with AI. This dude loves Claude. He loves OpenClaw. He loves automations. He's thinking different. And he's got some exciting news too outside of Rising Creek that he's got cooking for all the JobTread users out there. Something amazing. And I'm a big fan of community, and that's exactly what it's going to be about. So, Jake, my man, how you living, man? Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
Of
I'm excited
course.
to get this rolling. Heck yeah.
Of
Well,
course, my man. So what's your, Jake, I'm a big story guy. I want to learn a little bit more about you. I've had a chance to to work with you. We've done coding sessions together. We've done automation sessions together. We've been ripping on AI. I think one time we were ripping for about 2.5 hours. I had a great opportunity to connect with you. I have so much fun working with you, man. But what's your story? Like, how did Rising Creek come about? Like, did you have a career in construction before this? Have you always been in the contracting world? Tell me a little bit about your story, Jake.
I grew up around construction. My dad ran an excavation company, and I worked on all the equipment, all of that stuff. And my uncle built houses. So with that, I went rode with my uncle, learned the woodworking side, and then metal
Nice.
fab on with my dad. So I
How
kind of
old were you?
was well rounded. 11. I started working for
11.
my dad when I was actually getting a paycheck at 11. I was probably working when I was 5 or 6, you know.
So you're
So,
11. So what,
but
what what are you doing at 11 years old? So you're showing up to work, and what do you like? What does your day to day look like? What were you doing at 11 years old? I love this.
so I was taught how to run heavy equipment to build dirt bike tracks at 10. And so if I was going to be able to jump on the dozer, I needed to be able to grease it, change the oil, all the things, so that way it was operational when he took it back to work. So,
Wow.
yeah, he pretty much had me out there on Saturdays and Sundays finalizing the PM on the equipment. He ran a couple trucks, and then he got up to where he had 7 dump trucks. But anyways,
Wow.
yeah, I just maintained all that stuff. And then I went into firefighting right outside of high school.
That's
Went to
amazing.
college, became a paramedic. I worked at a children's hospital, and then I met my wife, and we decided we were going to build a house. So we built this home we're living in here. Posted a few pictures. I'd always been in construction. I did a bunch of side gigs whenever I wasn't working as a firefighter. And before you know it, those pictures got popular. People were looking for a builder, and my wife is great at design work. So I think it really brings the extra piece to the custom home side of things.
Yeah.
So me and my wife are a team. So that's Rising Creek Custom Homes in a nutshell. We kind of just kicked it off, started building homes for people after they asked, who they were like, oh, it should be in, Better Homes and Garden magazine and things like that.
Wow.
Well, I was like, okay, well, maybe this really is something that we need to venture out and do. My wife's a nurse, and whenever COVID hit, there was a lot of regulation. So we pulled back and went full force into construction. So,
Wow.
and then I guess a year and a half ago, I worked with a guy on a residential project. He's been in commercial for the last 30 years. We partnered
Yeah.
up. We started Rising Creek Construction.
Mm-hmm.
So now we do the majority of
Commercial
our stuff
too.
is now moved into commercial. So um, that's helped us kind of get an idea for residential and commercial through
Y-
JobTread.
Yeah.
Um, there's a
How
lot of
long you been
things,
on
I think
JobTread?
So I went to the first Connect about 2 weeks after I joined JobTread. So 2 years and about 2.5 years, I guess.
Nice.
So
So
yeah, I've really loved it.
oh, me too, man. I think it's the best system in construction, dude. But I got a bunch of questions now for you. First off, is your wife your secret weapon then? Is that what you're telling me? Is she the secret weapon?
She's involved on the custom home side of things.
Yeah.
She's the design guru.
I love
So
that, dude. I
yeah,
lean on my wife
yeah.
with a lot of things like that too. So I'm all about that life. And I know you're a big family guy too, so it's really cool to kind of keep it all in house with the family stuff, dude. I absolutely
Oh,
love
and
that.
yeah, if we go and do cleanup, the kids are tagging along. They're like, I want to push.
That's living the dream, dude. That's literally living the dream. And that's kind of how you were brought up too, right? So it's like when you were 11, right? 10 or 11 years old, was it like, dude, I want a dirt bike track? Is that kind of what was like, dude, I got to do this? Was it the dirt biking that was the kind of the love that kind of pushed you to be like, I got to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a little, Yamaha 80 and just I wanted to rip on it. And before I knew it, I was like, well, just riding around on trails is kind of boring. So you need some pumps. And my dad's like, well, there's a loader right there. Go build some. And
That's love
he
that.
took me out there. He started it up. And yeah, before I knew it, I was running equipment.
I love that, dude. It's funny, my dad was a huge dirt biker, and so we built a dirt bike probably when I was 11 or 12 years old, dude. And I accidentally rode a wheelie about 30 yards and it crashed into a tree, and my mom said that was the end of that. So, um, unfortunately, my dirt biking career was short-lived, man.
Short lived.
So, I
So
mean, for me, like, my dad had me working on rental properties, when I was like 13, 14, all the way through high school, right? So during the summers, we built our garage together. We were doing, insulation, siding, all you kind of need demo for all these rental properties. For me, like the biggest thing that I was able to take away from that was just like work ethic. And can you relate to that a little bit? Was that like a huge foundational build in terms of like your character, growing up?
100%. I think work ethic is the main driver that, during childhood, my dad was hard on me.
Yeah.
I didn't have weekends off whenever I was working for him.
Yeah.
But that that instilled something to make me go after things that most people would not go after and have the
Hmm.
drive and the commitment to, be an entrepreneur. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, as you know. Maybe the
Is that
audience doesn't, but I,
is that why you're
I
pinging
run a
me at
few
eight
different,
o'clock at night?
yeah, yeah, honestly, try to let everybody have their time and, but my brain just doesn't shut up. I'm
It's a
dreaming about
blessing and
it.
a
And
curse, right?
it is, it totally is. I'm like, I want to shut it down. I'm pretty good about just, allotting the time for my family whenever it comes time. But, you know, yeah, dude, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, dude. I don't know if you even talked about you being a firefighter. I don't know if I even knew about that. To be honest with you, my man, that's pretty cool. So like,
Yeah.
I always, we were just talking about this, right? Like in construction, man, like you're always putting on fires, right? Like, were you able to kind of learn anything in like your previous life and your previous careers in terms of just like being able to handle like the stress and like the literally firefighting, right? Like where it's just new stuff is just getting problems are getting thrown at you left and right, and you have to figure out how to solve these problems. Were you able to kind of learn some of those skill sets and things like that in being a firefighter?
Yeah, absolutely. In firefighting, there's a lot of improv. Something comes up and you juke and jive to make it happen.
Mm.
Same thing is the case here in construction. And you're dealing with problems that just quickly, come up and you've got to figure out what to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I, I learned that if you don't have systems in place, you're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off and you're going to be part of the chaos. Whenever I
Mm-hmm.
worked in emergency medicine, I was typically the level head in the room of, okay, this is a nightmare of a situation
I could
and
see
we've got to
that.
make the best of it.
You're
And
even
same
keel.
goes for, yeah, absolutely. That's the only
Mm-hmm.
way you can get through the chaotic times. There's got to be someone in the room that can do that. And I learned whenever I got in construction, Excel spreadsheets and everything on text messages was not the route to go. You have got to have a good system in place. And thankfully, I stumbled across JobTread
JobTread.
whenever, yeah, dude, it was like there were some other companies out there that were pursuing me, saying they're the latest and greatest. I tried, House Pro, but they they didn't have the product that I needed. It wasn't organized. There was schedules missing, and it was more of an advertising platform than anything. And JobTread brings it all,
Yeah.
So
So good. It's the best in the biz, my man. So like I guess I'm really curious about you being in like all these emergency situations. And obviously you talked about process, right? And how in construction you need to have process, you need to have systems. Otherwise, man, you're never gonna get out of the chaos. You're gonna be living in chaos. When you were in the emergency side, did they kind of have systems and processes that allow you guys to handle the chaos that you were able to kind of learn in terms of when you were building out your own business?
yeah, absolutely. To you know, triage and understand what is priority. That is one of the main systems we would utilize. Is like, okay, if we get a call, emergency call, is it the grass fire or the heart attack that's more priority? And
So
then
true.
dispatching out and hitting those things as the priority. Okay, well, life is, this is small grass fire over here, but this person's life is in jeopardy. So we would, that would be the first apparatus dispatch there. But same thing kind of in construction is, well, when we've got to dispatch out the priorities. And
Yeah.
so,
How
like,
many contractors do you
having,
think are wasting their time on the grass fire rather than trying to save the life? And they don't even realize it, right? Like they're working on non-priority tasks, but they're just kind of caught up in the chaos.
I would say probably 70, 80% of construction is that
Yeah.
they are caught up in, I need to do Facebook ads and uh, all this stuff to
The
bring it in.
noise.
And I did that initially. Like, I would bring in, I've got to set up automated calls and get, distracted, if you will.
Hmm.
And I've got to get leads. That's, as a entrepreneur, you're like, well, where's the next, you know, client coming from? And well, if you're not organized and managing your current jobs, there isn't the next client.
Yep.
So managing those jobs in a manner that is fluid, communication is good with clients. I felt like that was a huge downfall before I got on JobTread. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't have anything but a text message and sometimes emails. But bringing it all into one place is great. And so not being too distracted and with means of leads and financials, get things in order before you go chase the next client.
Yeah.
Like, get job,
So you
does
think
that
it's
make
more of a like
sense?
people focus kind of on like sales, lead generation, right? All the hype that people are talking about at conferences or whatever it might be. And they don't really focus enough on the execution, the production, the client experience, the stuff that really kind of keeps the customers happy, gets, repeat business, gets the referrals, right? Gets the 5-star reviews, that kind of stuff, right? Because it's like you're so focused on, hey, I need to generate revenue that the production kind of falls to the wayside a little bit in terms of priorities.
Percent. Whenever you don't follow up with clients, they get upset. They're left out.
Yep.
Whenever I went to Tread Connect, one of the speakers were talking about trust. And if you lose that trust or break any sort of that trust boundary, before you know it, your whole job can fall apart. And
Yeah.
so that's what I want, is to be able to have good systems in place where whenever they bring questions to my attention or concerns, I have an answer for them, or I can delegate that to my subcontractors. If something didn't go as planned, we can reach out and get that fixed, and everyone is in tune. And it's truly about uh, full circle communication. So,
Yeah. I love that, dude. 100%. So, I think this is kind of a good kind of, transition here. So we've been working together a lot, right? And we're going to be talking about something that's going to be getting released here pretty soon. I'm going to make the people wait just a little bit here for the suspense because it's going to be huge, right? Because I'm all about community. But, before we do that, right, me and you talk about technology a lot, right? We talk about AI, we talk about automation, we talk about all this stuff. Now, if I'm just the standard contractor, man, I'm already freaking overwhelmed, right? Like, I can't even get my systems and my processes set up. And now I'm looking at AI, I'm looking at these automations, I'm looking at workflows. Like, what advice do you have to contractors to start dipping their toes into the AI world, right? Because I know you're a big believer. I'm a big believer. Like, the standard contractor, man, what advice do you have for them to start to dip their toes in this crazy, cool, innovative world that we now live in?
so take small bites. Don't try to eat the whole cake because it is a lot. Someone that has spent the last couple of years diving in, and
It's a lot.
one that I've got to learn it myself. So this is, I could take my own advice, but
Yeah, exactly.
just if you find some of the key issues that take away your time, take away, everybody in construction is always concerned about the financials if it's costing me a ton of money, but really your time, if you can buy back some of your time,
Mm-hmm.
it will allow you to focus on the other key issues, um, to better those systems,
Yep.
take your focus off of getting payroll out the door, or, you know, messaging contractors and putting them in touch. And so that is one thing whenever you jump into AI, because that's at the forefront of everyone's mind, especially with the fact that, the MCP just was rolled out. And so if you take the time to kind of learn your needs first and foremost, and then attack those needs and
So
just
good.
do them one at a time. I don't know if you feel the same way.
100%.
Um,
Because it's like one of those
but
things where I think we get overwhelmed with processes. I think we get overwhelmed with AI, automations, and all this stuff. But you got to simplify, just like you're saying. It's more or less, figuring out your bottlenecks, your areas of weakness, your problems, right, in those processes, and then trying to identify where you can use AI to solve those problems, right? And for me, I think I've talked to some people that are worried about, cost, right? Now, I've told this story a couple of times, but when I had my last business, there's only 7 or 8 of us, and we were managing hundreds of clients, right? But I was spending 15, 20 grand a month on tech, right? And now for me, when I look at that, that's worth it, right? Because now when you're looking at my overhead, it's still much lower than having to bring on a bunch of bodies. And sometimes, some of these bodies could be, unfortunately, C or B players, which I don't believe in, right? Like I want A players only, and then I want the best tech stack, automations, AI to empower those people, right? I mean, how much money do we spend on tokens?
oh,
AI tokens,
so
right?
yesterday, yeah, it is unreal, but you don't have to do that.
You
Not
don't have to do
everyone
that.
has.
Not in the beginning, like you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can grow, and before you know it, it becomes worth it if you start little bit. Just like I said, you're not taking the whole cake at once.
Mm,
You pick a few things, but then as you get into it, okay, these processes can do a lot.
mm,
And so that is what I've found. It's a stage. Your stage one is beginner. Okay, let someone, like, there's a bunch of people out there that can YouTube videos. Yourself, for example, can come in and you already know it. We can guide you
Yep.
and show you around, and you don't have to learn every definition, all the terminology to figure out these systems. There's people already there and in place to do that. You just have to be put in touch with them. And, sometimes obviously there's a price to pay for that, but I found it comes back tenfold. If it doesn't, you know, maybe in some instances where you put in some money towards, you know, asking for help, and maybe they're not what you need, but
Yeah.
constantly evaluate that so you can assess, maybe, move on, but bring in someone that can help you where you're not trying to do it all. We're trying to
Yep.
take stuff off your plate. And so many times people just continue to pile on, and AI is one of those things. Is like, there's a lot of us out there that can help you understand and assess your JobTread, your business, of the key items to put into place. And maybe it's just one or two at a time to get you moving in the right direction. Before you know it, your processes are better. You're bringing in more clients, all the things that have growth in business. So,
Yeah, and I love that because you're very resourceful, right? And you're always looking for, what you can get the contractor's edge, right? That's the name of the podcast, right? The contractor's edge. You're always trying to figure out where you can kind of get that edge, right? And so, I talk to people all the time, and maybe they'll hire somebody to try to get help in AI, in implementation, on a website, whatever it might be, right? And it doesn't go the way that they wanted to. Now, unfortunately, that's just the way that business goes, right? Now, if you get a bad haircut, are you never going to get a haircut again, right? You still have to be resourceful and try to figure out the right person, the right company, the right resource, whatever it might be, that's going to help you kind of take that next step. So if you tried something and didn't work, don't, get down on yourself and think that everybody out there is not going to be a good resource or a tool for you. Because for me, it's always been collaboration and learning from other people, other content and stuff like that, that's allowed me to learn and get the skills that I now have, right? And me and Jake are spending hundreds of dollars sometimes a day on these tokens, but you don't have to be at that starting point, right? Get the $20 version of Claude, start to mess with it, right? Try to connect it to your tool, start to learn, watch YouTube videos, reach out to other people in like the JobTread marketplace, right? And you'll be reaching out to Jake here in a second too, as we kind of slowly kind of drop some big news here. But I'm gonna leave it hanging here for a second though, right? But start small, be resourceful, all that kind of stuff. Now, when we're talking about being resourceful here, now you've been working on a pretty cool concept here for some time, right? You're a community guy. You kind of found a gap in the marketplace where people need this kind of assistance and community. So you got something that you're launching here that is pretty freaking sweet. Right. So, do you mind sharing a little bit? Can we get a little bit behind the scenes of what's going on and share this with our viewers and our listeners?
so this all started, just a backstory to what it was JobTread Pros had groups, and you could go into a group chat, and it was specific to, different financials, leadership, all the different things. There was like
Different
just specific
trades.
group. And AI, it was like, okay, the questions were being asked about, the different type of coding that, cost codes and cost types and things like that. They were all individualized and not just being buried in the Facebook comments that, because
There's so many
Facebook,
comments, dude, right?
there's just a lot, and then it gets buried within about 5 minutes. A lot of people don't understand that there's a search bar at the top, but even then, it's very hard to find particular information that I've went into the search bar, and to find things through Facebook is a post that was done 3 days ago. It's still difficult to find. So the backstory is they got rid of those groups, and
Facebook did.
and
They eliminated
Facebook
it.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so JobTread was like, I didn't know it. All of a sudden one day I opened up Facebook and was looking for the group to find some information, and it wasn't there. So I posted on JobTread, just the main chat. It was like, hey, where did this go? And come to find out, Facebook deleted it just all of a sudden. So um, it was a letdown.
Yeah.
And so I kind of kicked it around. I was like, man, we need to do something. Is it Discord? What is it that there's a group chat that we can all go to and have, this side chat conversation.
That's very
So
specific
then,
to what that person wants. It could be a trade, it could be AI, it could be, right? And so it's so focused, right? And the community is right there.
yeah, totally focused. That's what we want, is a focused, not being caught up in other drifting conversations. So I go out and I have a, you know, idea that I'm going to start this chat, not specific to JobTread. The first idea was we need conversations in groups that are driven and ever evolving, where they don't get buried by the trash comments that have a tendency of popping up on Facebook. So I wanted to develop the system that drives a conversation uh, through an ever evolving AI driven conversation. It basically routes the conversation and gets everyone up to speed. It has a summarization at the top and things like that. Well, then I was thinking, well, we're still missing that in JobTread. What is step one? And it's like, okay, I'm thinking this is a pathway like an interstate. You take exits to go off, go to the place you want to go, and then you jump back on the interstate. So then I was like, okay, well, it's a highway. So that's how, what we're fixing to drop here is tread connection. That's how
Right
the name came
connection,
about.
baby.
It's connecting on the highway. And it rolls right into JobTread. I don't
Hmm.
know if there's any relation
Supporting the
to the
community,
tread,
supporting the users.
absolutely. So Tread Connection came about in my mind. And so I run it by the wife. She's like, what? You can't take on any more stuff. You've got a lot going on. But I said, I feel strongly about this. I want to build this out. I think this will benefit everyone in construction, and it'll buy back some of my time. It may take a little bit to develop, but at some point we will get our time back and allow us to get in touch with the partners that we need. So we created Tread Connection. And Nick, you know a little bit about it. Do you
Eh,
want me to keep diving in,
Yeah,
or
man,
you
I'm
want
all
to?
about it. So first off, so people, if you want to get involved, right, you can go to tread-connection.circle.so. Okay. So a lot of people have heard of school, right? Where there's content, there's community, there's chat, all this kind of stuff. I know that we were kind of talking about this, and we were looking into school, and we wanted something that was a little bit more innovative, right? A little bit more useful and stuff like that. So we decided to go with Circle. All right. So when you join in the community, right, there's of course going to be different chats that you can jump into that are very specific based off what you want to learn, right? So you could do stuff on marketing, you can do stuff on AI, you could do stuff on sales, you kind of name it. Not only that, we're also going to be bringing in content, right? Going live with different partners who have expertise in certain areas, right? And so there's going to be partners too, right? So of course, JobTread has the marketplace of all these amazing partners. It's honestly one of my favorite things about JobTread is it's an ecosystem, right? So I know you're going to be bringing in partners too, right? Like Better Boss and everything like that. That's going to be involved in the community, where it's like if you want hands-on learning, right, from the best of the best at whatever they do, doesn't matter if it's implementation, if it's AI, if it's coaching, UConn accounting, right? All those partners are going to be getting in there and being a resource that you can connect with live action from the best and the best, right?
Absolutely. So what we want to do is bring in the partners that are already partnered with JobTread. Not taking anything away from JobTread, just having a source that the community can be in touch a little bit quicker with those partners. having a
Exclusive.
space for the exclusive space where they can go in and have discussions. If it's, you know, with Penny Lane, not to name drop, but she's a great financial, like,
Accounting.
I feel like she's a pillar to the financial community inside of JobTread. And so if someone is having financial troubles, we would love to partner with her, get her in here and bring that back, because she was very active in the group chat on Facebook. So she was always answering questions, and I found that very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to bring all of the partners, 100% of the partners from JobTread in here, so that way they can get in touch. And obviously the partners will benefit that. So because they're touching base with the community, that is going to be a connection there. So that is truly why we called it Tread Connection. Um,
Are
the
people gonna
the
be going
training,
live too? Are people gonna be going live? Because I like lives. Are we gonna be doing some lives?
yeah,
Where we're helping
yeah.
people,
What
maybe
we
like a
want to
virtual
do,
happy hour type thing where we can hang out and get some new friends. Because I'm gonna be honest, Jake, man, for the last 10 years, I haven't really gained any new friends other than people that I work with. I don't know if I'm a loser or what it is, but I do like community and I do like getting new friends.
same, same. It wouldn't work. But yeah, we're gonna have live events. So there's an events tab at the top. There's a
Yeah.
calendar. Ideally, we would share some of the events already going on.
Yeah.
JobTread's always dropping webinars and things like that. But we're gonna have our own events as well to tie in and bring those partners valued information to the community. So that way those introductions are continually being made, and we can better everyone's business that way.
Yep.
Uh, if,
Win-win relationships,
if,
dude. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
what the community is all about, right? Like how can you lift each other up? All ships rise together, right? Like that's the vibe. We have some of the smartest contractors in the world, right? Like it's funny. I was talking to my buddy Nathan, who's a JobTread user and he's a partner, right? So he's got the JobTread power tools, dude. And he was talking to his Builder Trend rep, and the Builder Trend rep said that 90% of the JobTread users are smarter than all of their users, right? So we got the best product, we got the smartest contractors, and what you do is you collaborate, right? Because great minds, right? You blend that together. Everybody's got these different skill sets and knowledge. That's how you win, don't you think?
absolutely. Yeah. So if we come together, I want this to be a community driven, to take us all to the next level, to be the 1%ers that evolving, having great construction businesses, having the communication, the keys to the kingdom are right here. And if we put our heads together, there's no stopping anyone on JobTread. If you are utilizing these tools, you are going to put yourself above and beyond. And before you know it, you're going to have this influx of users coming to JobTread just because it is a community that is far superior than anything else anybody else is providing. And I think that's always been Eric's, goal, to
Definitely.
provide something that others don't. And he came from a world where he was a contractor himself. And so he knew a lot of the pain points. And I won't speak for him, but I think that was his goal and continues to be his goal. And that's why he's seen so much growth. Um, Tread
It is
Connection
though.
just wants to hold alongside that and say, okay, how do we get the most for JobTread users? And through that is community and partner involvement. And I think that's why he stayed in on the JobTread side of things. They focus on the platform itself. They
Hmm.
do a lot of great things, but they reach out to key players and partners and implementing. Uh, they're okay with third party, coming out and helping boost the JobTread community to a new level, and not
Yep.
trying to. So many other companies out there are, I want it
They want the
all.
whole
I'm going to
pie.
do
They
every.
want the whole pie, dude.
Yeah. And
100%,
there's
dude.
no
Because
sharing of that.
I was trying, dude. I mean, when I started Better Boss, my mission was to solve the software implementation problem for contractors, man. And when I was trying all these different tools, dude, so many of them weren't open API. They wouldn't have integrations. They didn't have a partner page because they wanted the entire pie, right? I think with JobTread, they look at different things differently, and I think it's almost beautiful what they've created. They have an ecosystem, right, of partners that are all specialized in different areas that can build on top of JobTread. They can provide services and assistant for people with JobTread, like you mentioned, Penny Lane on like the accounting side. Like everybody needs help with all that stuff, right? So it's an ecosystem. What happens is, it's funny, when I heard one of my buddies for Better Boss Man, he just like picked up on it right away. He's like, oh, so he created a community and an ecosystem where winners win, right? It doesn't matter if you're a partner, it doesn't matter if you're a user, it doesn't matter if you're a team member on JobTread. Winners win. It allows anybody who puts in the work to win and succeed, and that's what I love about it, right? And also too, it's like when I was at JobTread Connect, man, honestly, it was like, I was like, man, this is like one of the coolest events I've been to, and the amount of conferences I've been in the trades over the last 10, 11, 12 years. I lost count, right? I used to go to all of them, but honestly, for the most part, it was just like a big sales pitch where it was like I set up a booth and I had to like just pitch people, basically, right? Like
Sure.
at JobTread Connect, dude, it was like I didn't have to like pitch really. I felt like it was just like people helping people, people hanging out, people learning from each other, right? And then it just organically kind of generates business for everybody, right? The contractors, the
Yeah,
vendors, and go ahead.
there's a difference in JobTread Connect is so different than other, venues or, conferences. It's a learning conference, and then there's some sales on the side.
And some
You go
fun.
in and you learn so much. And if you don't learn something from, JobTread Connect, yeah,
That's
I,
on
I don't
you.
know what to tell you. Honestly,
That's on
yeah,
you.
there is
That's
so
lack
much
of
there.
growth
Like, and
mindset.
that we continue to go back year to year is when you go in there, 3 days of jam-packed learning. What I
Yeah.
want to do with Tread Connection is just take that throughout the year, not
Yep.
trying to take anything over, but to expand on that. And okay, maybe you didn't get to meet those partners at, JobTread Connect. Well, they're still there, and they have that.
Hmm.
Um, but let's put you in touch with them. And also, we haven't even mentioned the MCP.
Yeah.
That is something that what I want to do is assess your job tread through an MCP connector, which is Tread Connections MCP.
Hmm.
It adds on a knowledge base and allows us to go in and assess all of the details of your systems that are already in place. And this is
Hmm.
something that we're changing on a daily basis, and it's not fully there yet. It's beta version by far, but uh, it is coming where we can evaluate JobTread users' full business,
Hmm.
whether they're connected to QuickBooks, if they're cost codes. And with our partners that come in, we are going to suggest, okay, these are 2 or 3 people that would probably help your business grow. And
Hmm.
it's not a sales pitch. It's truly an audit of your system and seeing the downfalls or where
The
you're falling
opportunities.
short.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the opportunity to grow something and make your business better.
It's almost like
So
basically it's like they can come into the community, they can learn, they can get, talk to the partners, they can, join live sessions and gain new friends and advice from, contractors or other users. But then also with, like the MCP situation, it's like, all right, you could get an audit done, right? And now you're already gonna have the best of the best because we're only gonna have the best of the best partners in there, right? Like that's the mindset, right? And based off of that, you can get directly connected to say, hey, you need this solution, this solution, this solution. These are going to be the best people to be reaching out to based off of your needs, right? So it's like almost like kind of going to the doctor's office, right? And getting scans done, getting your results, figuring it out, and saying, hey, this is going to be the best doctor for you. This is going to be the best medicine for you, whatever it is, right? But now you can just feel confident saying, hey, go to this partner, go to this person, right? Chances are, if they're in, TC, that you've already seen them too. You've already been at some of their live sessions. You're already kind of seen what they're capable of doing, right? So you have a little bit more confidence there. So I love that approach.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an evolving, community here. Not everything is perfected, but it's a good start, I think, in terms of what we can bring here. And the more that people get involved here, give us some feedback, what works, what we need to tweak. I mean, this is day one. So, um, yeah, I
I mean,
want
it's
all
just
the,
like JobTread though, right? It's just like JobTread. What do? Give us feature requests, give us feedback, right? And we'll build it based off of you. It's the same approach here with TC, right? You tell us what you want. You tell us what changes you want to see. You want to see this is your community, right? This is your community.
the
It's all about you as a contractor.
yeah, we want growth from the community. Kind of an open source type project of, okay, we're learning and doing things based on the community and what their needs are. Um,
Yeah.
the the marketplace is, one of those places where you go in and there's a few different spaces. There's the requested tool, similar to what JobTread had for a of, okay, we have this need. I need, you know, to be able to upload PDFs, in a different format. Is that something that's missing? Okay, well, just request that tool. Uh, you'd be surprised at how many outliers and integration partners can bring that to the table for you. And so many people, there's questions on a daily basis that I read that there's a solution out there, but no one is in touch with where that solution is. Okay, maybe it's through Better Boss, or maybe, DataX has an ability to do that for you. Well, you request that and we can chime in and say, yeah, this partner right here has this tool that ready for you to deploy. So
100%. 100%, man. So you guys, make sure you guys are going to tread-connection.circle.so, right? Check it out, right? Let's join the community. Let's build something special here, right? Jake's doing everything right. He's doing this based off of a purpose, mission, vision here, right? And he wants to make your guys' life easier. He wants to help you guys grow your business. He wants to help you guys maximize your jobs, right? Get connected to the right people. And we were talking so much about being resourceful, right? So this gives you an opportunity to dive into all these resources, be resourceful yourself, and maximize these opportunities. Okay, so make sure you guys are joining the community. So Jake, I'm gonna put you on the spot because whenever we start to close these bad boys out, and hey, I know I appreciate, but let me say this quick. But as we close, I'm gonna leave you on the spot for the closing statement. Some people do motivational quotes. Some people give advice. Some people recommend a book. Some people give whatever they're working on or themselves, and you give advice based off of that. So I'm gonna let you close it out. But make sure that you guys are checking this out. All right. Make sure that you guys are becoming part of this community. All right. Get some new friends, learn a bunch of stuff, right? Grow your business like you never grown it before. Reach your dreams, your goals, your visions, everything like that, right? With the help of other people who've been in your shoes. So, Jake, I'm gonna let you close this bad boy out, man. All right. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've loved working with you. You've become a friend. And it's been a pleasure hanging out, my man. So thanks so much for taking the time out of your day, juggling all your businesses and everything you're doing to hang out with me, my man.
yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the time. I hope y'all can come on over to Tread Connection, see what's going on there. There is a ton of places that you can start to chat with other individuals. Just bring it over from JobTread Pros and give it a try. We are there to support you. We can answer any questions you have. Um, in in time, this thing is going to grow, and I mean, I don't know, just stay committed and grow those systems. That is what I have.
Yeah, man, my man. All right, guys. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Contractor's Edge. Remember, better starts now. Let's get it. All right. like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Let's go. All right. Let's continue to build community. We appreciate all you guys. Make sure you guys are checking out Tread Connection. And Jake, thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, we'll see you then.